We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men, for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
Welcome all back to the EGFC. I am once again Kilo Miles, joined by Soy for our third match of the night. We've got Marquette University taking on the University of Colorado, and, well, it's a very similar matchup to what we just saw, Soy.
Yeah, Colorado is this team that has been on the cusp of a championship for so long, and all of their players have really been playing at another level. They still have, they are only 4-2, but both of those losses are courtesy of the defending champs, Mississippi State, who they, I believe, will have to play again later on down the line, I believe, in split number 2. And coming up next week, they've got DePaul, who were right there with them in that championship caliber. So it has been a tough draw for Colorado, and they have done a pretty good job of standing up to that test.
Yeah, meanwhile, Marquette, well, they haven't had the best season, but they haven't had the worst either. I mean, they're very much holding on to that middle of the pack sort of standing. I mean, it's good and bad. You sort of act as a gatekeeper for the lower caliber teams, and maybe you'll be able to get some points on the board, but Colorado in particular has some real heavy hitters, and they're very strategic about how they get points. I don't know how much Colorado is going to be dropping when you have players like AIV, like Katsuji. Even, I mean, everyone's a threat on this team, but AIV and Katsuji are the main ones who you've got to keep your eye on. But I think this is actually going to be Ice coming up first for University of Colorado.
3, 2, 1, go!
Yeah, and go of Marquette here. And interesting matchup. I think Ice, the last time we saw him actually play was against a Pokemon trainer, and so he certainly knows the matchup pretty well. It's just a matter of Chaos, whether he's able to take advantage of kind of Pitt's disadvantage.
It's the out of shield option that really does make it difficult, but look at that. One Nair answered with another, and it's pretty much the same move. I think we said this last week too when a Dark Pit fought a Pokemon trainer. Hold on, wait, are we just rewatching last week's VOD? Now that I'm remembering correctly. But either way, now, starting to turn a little bit around on Ice. Even though they had a nice bit of neutral opening, they're starting to get stuffed out by Ivysaur's spacing tools.
Yeah. Ooh, a little bit of an overextension. Ooh, I actually love the dip down deep, but he's not going to be able to land the down air. Going for the forward smash, but the armor of the side B gets him back to stage.
Yeah, that was a good option right there. Any other could have been a risk except for jump, but Kwaz wasn't having it. They're going to be recovering after that super armor hit, and now Ice trying to slow the pace of the game down, trying to make Kwaz a little uncomfortable as they fish for the kill on Charizard.
Really difficult. Good in air there from Ice in neutral, but again, just can't quite get a follow-up on this Charizard.
Yeah, fishing for the spike, but they're not going to find it. Instead, that's a nice grab, up throw, not going to quite kill. Even off the top, it's not enough. 145, but those Flame Breaths actually put Ice into an up B situation. Misses the 2-frame, but that's not too much trouble when you're able to find the kill eventually anyways. They're going to be sticking to Charizard just for some longevity, I suppose, hoping to get some high percent combos.
I like the idea there from Kwaz, but unable to find it. That up smash not gonna kill quite yet. Good job holding on to that stock, holding on to that DI, and let's see if he can get anything off of this, but Ice doing such a good job of pressuring.
Some nice movement in the air with the fast falls before eventually going back down, but the down throw up air on Charizard going to be a lot easier to connect, and that's going to net you a stock. Now, playing underneath this platform, Ice is able to avoid the onslaught of aerials Kawas was throwing out, but Kawas with the immediate reversal off stage. It was instant aggression right there as they fish for that spike. It's only a matter of time before they hit it too. Dark Pit, pretty easy to gimp, or pretty easy to spike, easy to two-frame. It's a linear recovery.
Ooh, I thought the back air from Kawas was going to come out a lot sooner, but opts for the Squirtle now, and Ice gets the grab. So this is an interesting dynamic here, but again, Ice playing very carefully here. Well, I say that, but he gets off stage, and that was almost another down air.
Oh, 2 whiffs right there, and it's going to be a little brutal as Kawas is going to be on stage, dashing back, but, well, sticking with this charge at high percents. I understand why you want to. It's a playstyle choice that seems to be fitting them well, but Ice is starting to exploit it a little bit until they're not ready. Kawas says, all right, you like your side views off a ledge? Here, try one of mine.
And now, with his back against the wall here, he's able to make it out, and Ice, for as carefully as he's been playing, just finding a way to take a stock here has been so difficult for him.
As, they're able to use the second hit of that up smash to get a little bit more percent. Not a ton, but it gives you an in. And that in, it's going to be widened by Ivysaur going straight in off stage. Instant aggression off of the Angel platform. I think that's the most defining part of Quas's playstyle, Soy. Because, well, Quas, I feel like they were a very reversal heavy player. But usually when people talk about reversals, what they really mean is escaping combos by just throwing out a move. When Quas got a reversal, it was a minimum 40%. They got that hit, and it wasn't an accidental hit at all. They were throwing out hit after hit, slobber knocker after slobber knocker, and chasing down Ice off stage.
Chasing, a very apt description of it too. I mean, offstage, think of the Ivysaur interactions, especially in that second stock where he just dips so low. You would think a character like Pit that has such a large, span for their recovery would be able to, afford to kind of stall out down there and be safe. But Kawas able to follow them down there, use the nair, follow up with the back air, threaten that up B, threaten the spike afterward. After all of that, it just feels like Ice has to play this matchup on a razor's edge almost.
Yeah, I mean, it really feels like the only place they have an in is when the Squirtle is out, but you just swap off of that. I mean, Quas didn't feel especially comfortable on the Squirtle. They really came into their own on that Ivysaur. The pressure off stage and the willingness to use that tether recovery, it was really brutal. As now they're going to give Squirtle another try. The one thing you can do is you're able to duck under a lot of misspaced aerials. So if Ice is not especially careful with how they fastball, well, it's going to be another reversal. And we know that Quas loves that one as they're able to dip right under a back air and get 32%, but they're caught by the nair, and now it's Ice's turn. But they swap right out of it. Quas is now on to the Ivysaur, going for the grab, but it's not going to connect.
I really like Ice's side B recoveries that he's been doing. He's done such a good job of spacing them perfectly, making sure he snaps the ledge and doesn't give himself the opportunity to get spiked in the first place. And with the percents even here, could have been an opening, but Kawas able to fight his way back to center stage.
Barely mistiming that up air, Soy, and that's going to be hurt a little bit as you wanted to set up that juggle situation. You saw how much mileage they got off of it in game one, but now it's Ice's turn. Now it's Ice's turn to chase you way off with multiple jumps, but a jump off a ledge, putting yourself in disadvantage, Quas is going to capitalize. That is one thing they have made absolutely certain.
Yeah, and he was able to take the stock off of it too, so now Ice, a lot of work to be done here. And against this Ivysaur, it has been a struggle. Look at the quick damage. He's got 51. Good shield initially, but Quas just, not pulling the trigger on anything committal here.
Right. Ice now in a difficult position, trying to finish off Charizard, a position we've seen them with a couple times before. As the multiple jumps mean that up air is not going to connect, and B-reversing that gives you a nice 16% into an even bigger follow-up. That attempt at a breath is reflected, but ooh, those shields actually saved their hide. I thought they were going to drop them, and obviously Quest did too, but Ice held the line and keeps this stock alive.
Good shield. That's a good grab. Forward throw will do it. So stock number 1 off the board of Quas, and still 113. Ice has to play very carefully around neutral here and just opting for the Charizard. He wants that kill power on deck.
Yeah, on ledge, they're fishing for a forward air or something, but on this big body, you are going to get punished. Tries to do the up B out of disadvantage, but, well, the armor on that doesn't matter one tiny bit when you, well, are nowhere near your opponent. Now whipping the dash attack again. They want this up air or up B so badly, but the up throw will have to do. It's not a kill, but it puts Ice in disadvantage, and Quest happy to capitalize. The forward throw will finally finish them off, and they're back onto the scoreboard, which proved me wrong when I said that maybe that was their weak spot. Never mind. Onto the Ivysaur, and I don't blame them at all.
Yeah, I mean, good opening here for Ice. Good wait out on that end. Wow, I'm actually shocked neither of those moves ended up hitting.
That's really what it felt like off stage, racing back to that ledge, as now Ice struggling to get off this landing, but they're actually able to land and get a Tomahawk forward smash. The original meaning of the word right there is, oh, now the defenses are just melted away. What's the punish here? A mighty roar to celebrate that. The rage forward smash gonna be the end to Ice's life. They get the points on the board right now as Marquette against this huge team that is University of Colorado. 5 points. Ain't nothing to scoff at, so it ain't nothing at all.
Yeah, Marquette showing that they did not come here to mess around, and Quas is one of these players that's, you know, I think they have a lot of emphasis on him. He's 3-3 so far this season, so he's been kind of the key to their success. When he wins, they've done really well. When he loses, they often get shut out. And that's kind of been the story of Marquette so far this season, and their point differential really kind of tells that story. It's practically even. It's at 9 under so far, but you know, that was a big important first win, because we talked about Colorado. They are very strategic about how they play these matchups. They want those counter picks. They want these specific type of matchups, and so for them to take, or for Colorado to lose set number 1, Marquette, this is a very big early start for them.
Yeah, as now, I mean, University of Colorado doesn't have too much to sweat. It's going to be N coming in next from them. N is actually one of their new players. And, well, I think Marquette has a lot of new players as well. But N, University of Colorado could avoid to be selective. They only picked up 2 new players. Both of them apparently have PGR wins offline. So, obviously, N is a force to be reckoned with. And they're going to be going up against Chico. I have not seen Chico. I cannot claim to know their playstyle. I do know one thing. They are a Monkey Monday aficionado. They're going to be rocking the DK as, well, I can't imagine the DK is going to have the easiest time, but we have seen some nasty DKs here in the EGFC soy.
Yeah, I mean, Chico's been one of the more successful DKs. Another player for Marquette who's gone 3-3. And against Robin, this is one of those matchups, I think, where it's kind of very pendulum-esque. You either can find your openings as DK and just exploit Robin's recovery and offstage capabilities, and you can take stocks relatively early, or it goes completely the other way, where this Robin just controls center stage so well, abuses all the projectiles, and just abuses this big body, and can get, some heavy hitting points on the board. And if anyone were going to get a lot of points on the board, it would be N for Colorado. He is 6-0 on the season, and last week he took down MIA of Mississippi State. So he has been playing with his pants on fire right now. He is just on a streak.
And ain't no liar either, because these the damage that Robin rocks up is nothing to scoff at. I mean, you get caught by one arc fire and your DI isn't perfect, you're gonna be punished. And with DK, I'm not even sure it matters if your DI is perfect. Maybe some choice SDI down is a possibility, but online it's not the easiest thing to hit. You've got to be wary about these confirms coming out. Otherwise, you can say goodbye to that monkey. I mean, the other thing that Robin has, amazing aerial punishes with the Levin sword. So, I mean, with DK's linear recovery, I can expect the Kong will go bye-bye.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult for Chico, to say the least. But like we said, it isn't impossible. It's just a matter of, can he find his openings and can he capitalize? A lot of, I think this matchup in particular comes down to, how far can you press your advantage? Because I feel like that is it turns the match, around instantly, being able to seal away stocks. And I think that's something these two players in particular do very well. It's not so much about the survivability as they are about, I'm going to get this kill at, under 100% because I'm going to find a way to get my setup, on point.
And I feel like this matchup does rely around spacing the most. I mean, I don't know if there's a matchup in the game that doesn't rely around spacing, but you need to be positioned correctly on the stage that when Robin whiffs a move, you run right on into punish. It's like we said, Chico versus N. And N not here to play. 6-0, they're looking to keep that record going. As I said, the arc fire, but they're beaten out in the end right there by a forward air. The only hit so far that Chico's been able to get, fishing for this combo starter.
And there's the combo starter. Can't find the forward smash, but keeps the pressure on. And I actually like this stage a lot for N because although DK's got good boxing tools, you can just use that huge sword and take such early kills here off of Chico, getting that first stock.
Yeah, and with that first stock, I mean, well, Chico's going to be playing from behind the entire time because N doesn't really feel the need to give credence to this Kong. I mean, even if you get caught by the recovery, it's not the end of the world. You're still a stock up. I feel like what this is, N, they want to get the points on the board, though. Yeah, I don't think they're making it back from that. No. The spike actually prevents the 3-stock. Chico able to get some points. And, I mean, it's not the most predictable recovery, but it is exploitable if you get the chance.
Good avoidance by Chico and good early damage as well. 52 couldn't get the next back air. Good air dodge by N.
Say it with me, folks. DK. Donkey Kong is here, and here to finish you off? No! The air dodge out of that confirmed, landing on the platform right there. That was very nice. At this point, N is going to avoid the ding-dong, but even so, they're so wary of that spike through platform. They know that Chico is fishing for that. That shield pressure, though, means that monkey can't shield for much longer. Going to be caught by the Levin sword there, 28% already. Shore hopping over that Thunder, almost gives them an opening. But now the book's back online.
This is a lot of damage too, and Chico really needs to find a way to take the stock, give himself a chance here, but he overextended, and the downer not going to be able to take the stock quite yet, but the second one will. The spike does come through in the end, and a huge 2-stock from N.
And it looked like Chico was bringing that back there for a second. But even when they started to close the distance, DK just doesn't have the burst speed to get in all the way. And even though their punishes were nice when they got the chance, they got that quick 54, 60%. They weren't able to finish it. And that is what is a little bit heartbreaking, because it felt like if you're able to just clean up those kill confirms a little bit, you're able to instantly turn around the momentum of that match. That was not the case, though.
Yeah, and for Chico, I feel like especially towards the end there, you kind of have to go out and see how much mileage you can get off of your 1 or 2 openings, because like we saw, once N gets an opening, it feels so much easier, right? If he gets that setup of side B, it's almost a guarantee, 40, 60% if he gets all the follow-ups off of it. And that's just so much for Donkey Kong to deal with. You don't want to be, playing that careful of a game at that high a percent with such a big body. It's so difficult to do that with a character that's got such good projectiles. So to go out there, at those 40, 50% stocks and look for those second hits of back air and whatnot, I don't blame him for it, but there it ends up biting him and he eats the down air for it.
And now, going to small battlefield instead. You're losing the kill confirm. Those ladders, Chico all the way off. I don't blame him at all for getting rid of that. You'd rather get your guaranteed damage, 38%, playing a lot more discipline this time, pushing for these back airs, trying to get the tech chase right there, but the DI up prevents that situation in the first place. As well, that work is undone thanks to the down B.
Now Chico's got to find a way down and does eventually as he wanted the side B. If he lands that side B, it could be the stock, and look at all the damage he's got too, and just doing such a good job of pressuring.
Space control right there, and the juggle really defined this first stock. Look at this, Chico now. I mean, they're going to be lucky if they get another hit because of how carefully they're going to have to be playing. Hurling the book up right there, pressuring the shield safely with the nair, but they're able to get the grab into the ding-dong. With rage, that's not going to kill, but 95% right now. Another one would have. Very good air dodge at the last second and to save their hide. And they're able to get the drain, get themselves a little bit farther out of that kill percent, but you're up against max rage DK. Not enough, though. Take it down there as the back air is shielded.
Yeah, good stuff to end to take that first stock. Oh my goodness, jumping at the last second to avoid that one, and it'll take a little bit of percent, but he will be able to get back to stage for a dangerous play by both of these players.
Ooh. Goes for the attempt at a spike, but no low recovery for you as, I saw the kill sparks right there. I thought it was over for, but every one of these projectiles gives me a mini heart attack, Soy.
And what a turnaround from N too. That was all off of a panic up B and the spike again. Getting above DK, so crucial to take advantage of that recovery. And look at all the damage he's got here on stock number 3.
Oh, finally the forward air smashes their head in, but is it enough? When this is a situation we're all too familiar with, Soy, as you're trapped above N and they are not letting you go. The only way down is likely a spike, which is what they want. There's no jump left. You're all done for. Chico, all they could do is drift helplessly back to stage and hope and messed up. But there's no such thing. They haven't heard the word as instantly Colorado retakes the lead.
Yeah, big 2 stocks there on games 1 and 2 from N, so they take the lead 6-5, and I mean, it's just a solid showing. I mean, we talked about it too, the fact that this was going to be kind of a difficult matchup for Chico, but at the end of the day, if you can take advantage of those matchups that are a little bit more difficult, if you can find the proper way to exploit all those little advantages, it's going to get you very far. So just well done by N, right? To use his knowledge of that matchup and really kind of run away with the pace of that play.
Yeah, and the pace, I mean, it almost didn't feel fair at times. Well, it really wasn't. It was just bullying. Smack after smack after smack, and it wasn't all DK either. Even though you got that nice down B spike, that was really the only victory afforded to you. Like, the combos are nice and all, but it turns... Ironically enough, DK is a glass cannon. Because even though it takes longer to break, the cracks still form the minute you whiff an attack.
Yeah, absolutely. And DK too, I mean, he's got one of those recoveries that you saw that is a little easier to exploit. It's like Bowser's, but it's even easier because there's no hitbox really above like there is with Bowser's even. And so you can, you just have to be above DK, and was able to do that 2-3 times that set, able to get that spike. And so just great awareness. And DK, like you said, he's one of those glass cannons because if you get him off stage, you can get him. He's still the heavy combo food for characters, but he's got the same recoveries as Bowser, and the extensions just aren't always quite there.
Yeah, 100% is now not a terrible lead for Marquette to make up, and they really want to get this upset if they can. University of Colorado, though, like we said, very intelligent with how they play for these points. They're not pulling any punches. They never pull any punches, which is why, well, we, yeah, we're able to get in. Who's going to be next? It's going to be Krusty Timms. Yeah, actually a new player coming from the side of University of Colorado. Meanwhile, I'm trying to see who... Yeah, Marquette hasn't announced their player yet. And we're just getting a bit of info because apparently we do have some info on who Krusty Timms is. Oh, and it's going to be Tiny, who is actually a Jigglypuff player from Marquette. I'm curious to see how they are handling these new buffs because I actually have not seen a lot of the new stuff coming out from Stinky Cheese 782, who's been the primary rep that I've seen from our character so far, but landing back air is an incredible new tool that Jigglypuff has on the table. It combos into grab at low percents and grab combos into fair rest. It sets up tech chase situations. Bear is very nice. So I'm curious to see how Tiny makes use of that.
Yeah, and Tiny's one of these players for the side of Marquette that hasn't had a lot of success this season, but again, Jigglypuff is, we talk about glass cannon characters. This character can absolutely be that glass cannon where they can take advantage of a lot of matchups or a lot of aspects of a matchup, but they can also get exploited, relatively easily. And Tiny's ended up on the wrong side of that coin flip more often than not at 0-3, so he's still searching for his first set win. And against the brand new face to the EGF, now when would be better?
Yeah, and it's gonna be okay. We had been told that this was a, I mean, so it's gonna be the Incineroar. This is a very tough, a shockingly tough matchup for Jigglypuff. It's, to steal a phrase, Jigglypuff has a lot of matchups that feel like 70-30 both sides, because Incineroar has a really good aerial burst with the fact that he can jump high and throw out fast aerials and get really hard punishes online with that side B. But if he ends up off stage, Jigglypuff can really exploit it. As you can see, Tiny hasn't even been able to get a hit off of just some really good footsies from Krusty Timms. Landing down air isn't going to net you much, but nice spacing to bait out that forward smash. Right now, fishing for that way in, but instead all they find is an out.
And it just feels so scary for Tiny to approach because of just the raw kill power and damage that Incineroar can do. I mean, look at all the up smashes that Timms is throwing out here, and the next one that lands is likely to stop.
Yeah, that is going to be the stock, like you said, and, well, Krusty could not have been more obvious with what they wanted there, and Tiny is happy to give out some charity, and the revenge is going to mean 48% on this little pink puffball. Krusty Timms right now is able to get the back throw. Tiny in a very uncomfortable position. They're able to grab ledge just fine, but they hang on a little too long, and it's just pressure right now. It's very uncomfortable for them. Soft hit a 4 there, though. Not going to combo to grab at this percent. Tiny is doing a good job stuffing them out, but can't quite hit with any strong connectors yet.
Yeah, and he's got to find a way to do it soon because at 81 against an Incineroar, that's very dangerous. Good forward air there from Timms again, and that back air just keeping Tiny to the corner. And that stray hit is going to come eventually. That's a good grab. And up throw, I like the idea there. I think Incineroars would go for the back throw, but the up throw will seal a late stop.
Yeah. Trying to be safe with that shield pressure, but the forward tilt, not the best option, is right there. You can see Tiny, at this point, just kind of fishing for, a tech chase situation. They're able to cover it with dash tech, but they're just a little bit too low to punish the high recovery, even though they knew it was coming. They're going to have to fix that next time, but is the next time even going to come when you're at ledge and with max rage almost? Rusty Tim's looking for the punish here. This could be a 3-stock, folks.
Gotta play so carefully here, though. If he wants to hold on to that stock, that forward smash is a little dangerous, but playing very carefully here in neutral.
Yeah, down tilt in there, just some guaranteed damage, and at this point, the side B will kill. A smash attack will kill. A nice strong aerial at ledge will kill, and the up throw will kill. I was not expecting that, and I don't think Tiny was either, but Incineroar, maybe one of the strongest, I think out of the archetype, as a grappler, maybe one of the strongest in the game, and that's a good explanation as to why, Soy.
Yeah, absolutely. Able to get the 3-stock there against Jigglypuff, and just really impressed too. Whenever you get a 3-stock, like there's always something to be said about the control of the matchup, but Tibbs there did such a good job of holding onto his stock, because Jigglypuff, conversely, it's like you said, the style of movements are so different, and it felt so scary for Tiny to try and go in on Tim's. But it's not like Tim's, has necessarily a good chance of trying to track down Tiny on the flip side of that coin. He can't really extend as hard. But Tim's did just a good job of playing patient, I think, and finding those 1 or 2 stray hits and openings. Any small overextensions by Tiny were punished by strong hits of forward air, strong hits of back air. Just really well done overall.
Yeah, well done indeed. As right now, University of Colorado edging out in their lead thanks to a 3-stock. If another one comes out, this might start to go from an even game. Well, it will start to be an even game to an uphill battle. And you do not want to be in an uphill battle because, like I said, AIV. The captain steering this ship plays for points. They play it well. They understand this format better than maybe anyone else in the league. And they know exactly when to put the pressure on. And I think that's what they're doing with this unknown Krusty coming in a big way, demonstrating why they made their way onto the Colorado team so fast.
And we talk about this format a lot and how pivotal that third set can be. Depending on how those first 2 matches go, the third set really determines the feel and pace of the rest of the next 2 matchups that come up after this. And with an even game here, they decide to put in this new young gun here, and he gets a 3-stock in game number 1. It shows, how much confidence Colorado has in really the new players on their team.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how you can really adapt to this. I mean, it really did feel like the ground game was just a little too oppressive. And when you go for big committal options, you've got to be ready for big committal options to be thrown right back at you. Incineroar is a character who has those, especially in the form of the side B. And when you're constantly swinging like Tiny was, and you're feeding that Incineroar all the revenge a growing cat could ask for, well, then you find yourself in a world of hurt. As Tiny demonstrated, you can see they're thinking hard about their counterpick right now. We're trying to figure out where they are going. It's going to be town and city. And normally I don't like to call out why the delays are happening, but it's always fun to shout out when the switch falls out of the dock. Shows like the players, just like you and me, folks, they can also kick the switch.
Yeah, so while we wait for everything to get back and ready again, you're talking about this matchup and how difficult it was for Tiny. I think one possible adaptation. I mean, I think it's difficult for something like this to happen, but something like a tomahawk grab, we didn't really see. Jigglypuff can get a lot off of grabs, but grabbing Incineroar is just, again, so scary because of what they can do. But if they can find a way to get some grabs in and get some of that, kind of, I don't want to say guaranteed damage, but get some of that positioning off of it, I feel like it could do a lot of work. The problem is just, again, getting in on this character, because the way Tim's was playing, it felt like he was kind of swinging for the fences, and as Puff, that is scary to approach.
Yeah, and when you instill that fear in, you've just got to find different ways of going for the approaches. I feel like at low percent, if your only option is pound, it's going to be red. At high percent, if your only option is soft hit a forward air, it's going to be red. So, well, I feel like there are some, like when you're coming off of the 3 stock, there is not just one thing that went wrong. There is never one thing that went wrong in a 3 stock, and I feel like Tiny knows that. But 3 stocks often don't happen twice in a row. It's very rare because there is always a chance to claw your way back into things. So we'll see how Tiny makes these adaptations. As like I said, we're going to be going into Town and City as soon as we're back into this arena.
And one more time before we do, I really got to commend Tim's for his play because, like we said, 3 stocks are very rare here in the EGF. I mean, it's few and far between the times we get to see them. And it's like you said, back-to-back 3 stocks is just so difficult in this league where, you have kind of this range of talents, but a lot of these players, especially when you talk about the depth of the roster, are very kind of, middle of the pack in these third sets where the adaptations just come through from players eventually. So for Marquette, for their side, a team that's 3-3 to be challenging a team like Colorado that's 4-2, that feels like it's championship caliber, that feels like they can take that next step. It's interesting that they've got this Jigglypuff in this kind of pressure situation here in the third set.
Yeah, very interested indeed. And I mean, you all know I'm very invested in this kind of matchup, and I understand how it can be tough. These matchups that you're, quote, supposed to win are always the matchups that they are most experienced in not losing because they know they're supposed to lose. So why would you let yourself lose? This is a game where you can make any matchup winnable. It's a game where, well, there are a few matchups where it truly feels unplayable. I think there may be a comeback here, but either way, there's a lot to overcome. There's a lot to overcome indeed. As I said, I thank you all for your patience as we try our best to figure out what's going on, try and figure out how to get back into the game. I would check out the schedule, but at this point, I think we're about to get right back in there, and I'm just waiting for confirmation on that now.
Yeah, and these are 2 teams. Oh, well, we're just getting word that they're getting into the arena, so we will be starting shortly. But I'm very curious to see how this second game goes. Do they have the adaptation? Well, that's one adaptation that I didn't see coming.
All right, Tiny whipping out the Isabel. I mean, you're going to be able to control the ground a lot better. And Incineroar's a little slow there. You're going to have to watch out for the upwards diagonal approaches. But Isabel does have the anti-airs. Going to be a lot slower pace. It's going to be easier for them to get revenge online, but especially if you're throwing out the forward airs willy-nilly like this. But Tiny has to be aware of that.
And this might be the first Isabel of the EGF, so a character we haven't seen, and not a good start as Tim's goes down for the down air and lands it.
Yeah, straight into the commitment right there, and AIB sent into the texture situation, but either way, a kill at 30% is a kill at 30%, no matter which way you slice it, Soy.
Yeah, a really rough start for Tim's, and looking for an opening here in neutral. Does land the up tilt into the up air, so some good damage. And another grab here, so doing a good job of spacing around a lot of the moves that Tim's has been throwing out.
Yeah, Incineroar's a tall character, so these just non-fast-followed short-hop fairs are actually able to get some nice damage on, but it's only damage. Where are you going to find the kill? That's the question. Krusty Tim's does not have to ask that question. Their entire character is the answer.
Ooh, that up B did not connect, so now he'll be at disadvantage. Good job recognizing that angle. Will be able to snap to ledge, and Tiny not quite ready for it. Yeah,
they're able to get the finisher right there on the down B. Nice little bit of damage, but now you're at a tech chase situation on ledge. Get up tech and a put Krusty on ledge, though. But Tiny just gives up stage control, using their floatiness maybe a little too liberally, as they float right up on into Tim's aerials. Now it's Damage City on that platform. Off the top, not quite yet, but... Ooh. Well, we'll have to see how this is resolved right here, as it did look like that was more or less over, but either way, Tiny... It seemed like they had the right idea, but ultimately, they just weren't there on the execution. And Krusty was there with the stomp to finish it off. I mean, it was brutal at times. As right now... Yeah, we are just going to wait on the results of this matchup. But while we wait for these players to finish off, let's take a quick look at the schedule so you can figure out how we're going to be wrapping up the night.
Yeah, as we take a look here, we unfortunately did not get to see UConn versus Iona. A little bit of a mix-up and a forfeit on the side of UConn. So it is the Iona Gales who got that victory for our first game of the day. Seton Hall versus Marist, we just saw play out in Marist. They looked as dominant as ever. They collect another victory under their belt, headed into week number 8. And then we are in this matchup right now of Marquette versus Colorado, where Marquette got off to a hot start, but Colorado has responded with aces up their sleeve, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, Colorado, they had the mix-up in the form of Krusty, and now it's AIV's turn. AIV is not going to let this slip at all. They are, well, maybe one of the most consistent players there. Like I said, they play for points. University of Colorado, they're the only team ever to go down 3-0 and then win without winning the maximum amount of games. They won 2 games, but by playing for points, they were able to get a victory in the end. That's impressive right there. They're the only team to ever do it. And that shows the mastery they have over this format, even if they have trouble against some of the top tier teams.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's the mark of a smart team, right? That they can find ways to play for those points, and obviously you want to try and win every set, but we talk about some of those matchups that are just more difficult than others. It feels like, and so AIV, he sometimes falls prey to that because Ike is a character that's got some exploitable portions of his game. But what he does so well is that, play for points style, right? He can, he can play carefully. He realizes his win condition or recognizes win condition, and then he finds multiple ways to get there. And that's what makes, his specific playstyle so scary, is that you don't necessarily know what he's going for next. Even though Ike seems like a very straightforward character because the Nair is just such an ever-present part of his matchup, you don't know exactly what, trigger he's going to pull.
And there's always a mix-up. When you're carrying them towards the side of the stage, are you going to go for the up B? Not a true follow-up, but still a deadly one. Or are you going to just continue the combo? Are you going to juggle? Are you going to try and put them off stage with the forward air? It's anyone's game. And AIV knows all of the cards in play. Meanwhile, Marquette, it looks like they're sending in either Dwyzar. I think it's Dwyzar 1. It might be Dwyzarl. Either way. They have how's their point total looking so far, Soy?
Dwyzar has been one of the better performers so far on this Marquette roster. 3-2 on the season. Mostly gone, I think exclusively gone Yoshi so far, and actually had a win against Connor Sanders when Marquette ran into Mississippi State earlier on this season. It was not a Yoshi ditto though. Dwyzar went Yoshi and Connor Sanders opted to go Joker and Crom. So a little bit of a different dynamic there. But regardless, Dwyzar still one of the heavy hitters, I think, of this Marquette roster.
But do you know why they went Joker and Crom? Yoshi hates disjoints. And I mean, every character in the game who's not a massive disjoint character will say, oh, my character struggles with disjoints. Yoshi really struggles with disjoints. And Ike not only has disjoints strong enough to break double jump armor at extremely low percents. You have to be very careful about how you use those resources. The reason why a Yoshi player would go Crom is because they know how to use those disjoints to exploit Yoshi's weaknesses. We'll see if AIV is the same, or if Dwyzar 1 can maybe edge out some points and make this an even game once again.
Yeah, and you look at the point spread right now, it is an 8-point difference, which means that Dwyzar would have to get a perfect set in order to tie things back up. But that's not the goal here. The goal for Marquette is just to win this set and give yourself a chance in that 5th matchup, because all you need to do is give yourself a chance. And that's what Marquette has kind of thrived off of in their past, couple of sets is, even if it's close, just, find a way to get the victory. Find a way to get those bonus points online. Worry about the next set later. Get the victory now.
As AIV striving to do just that. Going up against Dwyzar 1 on Battlefield. Both these characters benefiting heavily from that. In the immediate egg lay, no real punisher, but it puts that tool on the table. It's like, hey, remember that? Think of that anytime you want a shield around me. As they get the down air immediately, playing a very grounded Yoshi right now, as they're able to just get some nice bread and butters. That up tilt going to confirm into kills sooner or later, but for now, it's just some nice little bits of damage.
And with Dwyzar on that top platform, he took so much shield pressure because AIV, this is the classic Ike, right? Control center stage, use that nair, just pressure around these platforms, and look at the combo game too, quickly evening up the percentage.
Yeah, 83% already. Ooh. Down smash, very optimistic, but not punished quite yet. No jump out of the combo, though. For the moment, they're able to survive. They send him off stage, and they go down with the nair to get the pop out of the egg. AIV wasn't ready with the immediate up B, and because of that, they're down to stock. Dwyzar 1, very tricky movement right now.
Very smart to go down there with the nair. Most people would just wait for that panic option and see how he recovers, but Dwyzar says, I'm going to go take this stock early. He's not ready for this, and AIV able to respond with the nair to up air, so things even back up.
Ooh, and they're being so tricky with their short hop movement. Yoshi, fastest in the air in the game, but they're a bit like Captain Falcon, where once they start going, they have a hard time slowing down. It's not like Puff. So AIV is able to catch on to how these approaches are getting through their defenses, and maybe something more, but Dwyzar 1, for the moment, holds the edge, a couple more percent right there. And that nair not leading into anything.
Doing a lot of pressure. Good grab by AIV, and now the shield pressure on, but that neutral B, not going to be able to quickly follow up into anything.
Dash attack right there. Air dodge to ledge. AIV was able to claw their way back into that one, but being caught by down B puts you at ledge. Dwyzar, they love that down smash at ledge. It's not always the safest option, as you can see. You put them in disadvantage there. Back air, though, sets up for an edge guard situation. Straight to ledge, though. AIV, a lot of respect for Yoshi's hitboxes, even with that side B.
And I think AIV, you can tell he kind of wants to go forward. He wants to pressure around the ledge, but like you said, just respecting all the hitboxes that Dwyzar can throw out, because you have this ability to catch Yoshi's recovery. It's a lot more susceptible, but for AIV, it's just so difficult, and he just doesn't want to lose this stock for it. And oh, this could be another follow-up.
No, they're able to get the ledge that time, my friend, because both of them are really out of each other's kill confirm ranges. And I feel like they both have a ton of stray hit raw kill power, so it's shocking that they've lasted this long. Like you saw, that double jump armor broken, but it still saves Yoshi's life as they're able to get to ledge.
again, playing so carefully. Both of them at kill percent 158 and 163. You got to feel like they're both working on borrowed time. This could be big. The down B, no, doesn't take the stock, but the down smash will.
Yeah, it's one of Yoshi's, I think it is Yoshi's fastest kill option right there. And even though it can be a little punishable, when you connect it, oh boy, it's 27% from 2 hits. Yoshi stacks on damage so fast. Pancakes flying off the griddle. As they fly off the screen right now, slight lead for Dwysar 1 in this matchup that we had hyped up as very, very unviable. They're able to get the grab, send AIV off.
Could be an opening for AIV, but no dice after that up tilt, and AIV just trying to play very carefully once again. Dwysar, he knows they need this stock, but AIV, the pressure is on Dwysar here, so he's playing patient.
Yeah, and playing with these eggs a lot. AIV, though, starting to catch on. Tech chase situation, though. Caught by the lingering landing hitbox down air as well. Jab lock right there into the forward smash. That's going to be the finisher. Dwysar 1 is able to get a point on the board against AIV.
Huge game 1 for Dwysar to take. I mean, we talked about how difficult this matchup could be, and Dwysar just seemed like he had an answer for a lot of what AIV wanted to do. Things looked rough early, but Dwysar's in-game adaptation was so quick and fast, and he was able to get the job done here in game number 1.
Yeah, as well, it felt like AIV had the right idea, but the pace of the game would change so rapidly because of how fast Yoshi can, well, move. Like, there's no other question about it. Yoshi can slow the pace of the game down, play a lot around what is essentially dash dancing with those B reverse, wave bounce, egg lays, and then they can throw out egg after egg after egg, stuffing out what AIV wants to do, setting up tech chase situations on platforms, or they can just bull rush you with aerials, which is what Dwysar 1 did a significant portion of the time. But the fact that you can mix up the aggression with the defense is what made Dwysar 1 so nebulous. AIV, though, going to a place where they have a little more room to breathe. Hopefully they try and find a chance to stop Dwysar 1's nebulous approaches. They went for the immediate spike, though. That is blood in the water right there. But it's the reversal as well with the Nair, trading back and forth.
And I like the idea from both of them. Dwysar goes for that spike, and then AIV responds in kind with the early air dodge, knowing that the spike was going to come out. So both of these players playing very smart Smash right now.
Yeah, able to get the grab right there, and Dwysar just answers with the Nair. AIV, for the most part, is just getting these stray hits. They're not getting any of the combos we know them for, as that forward air is not going to confirm into a kill quite yet, not on Town and City. But either way, it puts you at ledge against Yoshi. And on stage like that, oh! They ran up, ran back, a raw back air, and I think AIV might not even have been in lag anymore, but that little bit of tricky movement was enough to catch him off guard regardless.
And I wonder, too, if AIV wanted to fade back to the ledge with that upbeat, but the platform was going to be in his way, so he decided to just opt for stage, and the back air caught him either way. So now the pressure on AIV to find a way to take the stock, and he does with that forward air.
Yeah, cleaving straight through that platform and the dinosaur. And now AIV starting to retake their lead, but they jump right into the down air right there. Every single hit connecting, that's gotta hurt. Is a nice bit of guaranteed damage right there. AIV claws their way back into it. Egglay in midair, though. Dwysar holds on. Goes for the down B right there, but just like the up B on stage, that's going to be punched. At this level of play, you can't be getting away with that.
And I think the idea there from Dwysar was to go for some shield pressure, because he'd already hit his shield once or twice. And if that down B fully connects, it can break shield really early. But he gets punished for it instead, and now he finds himself in disadvantage, and that dash attack will get him off stage once again.
Trying to land right here with these up airs, the eggs, like I said, slowing the pace of the game down, but AIV is a bit happier at this 0.75 speed. Here we are now, playing around the center stage. The jab almost sets up for the jab lock. They wanted it so bad, but Yoshi not quite fast enough to make their dreams come true. AIV, though, this time breaks their code of going straight to ledge, goes straight into the pink dinosaur. They're able to get some damage on the board, and they don't even die to that. The up air will finally finish them off. It's an even game right here as Dwyzar looks to put Marquette back in the running.
What a turnaround, because Dwyzar wanted the spike on that side B from AIV, but he could not find it, ended up dying for it, but then immediately just catching the recovery once again, exploiting Mike's ability to get back to stage and how few options he has, but now AIV doing a great job of controlling the stage once again, and Dwyzar finds a way through.
A testament to AIV's spacing right here is every time they land an air and Dwyzar hits a forward tilt, it doesn't actually combo because it's the farthest hitbox. AIV is so far away every time. 6 feet apart as there we go. Able to get the down B. That is a burst option that lets you get in there. Just spamming the up tilts, trying to get a combo started on that platform, which would have been a kill as AIV goes for a tomahawk grab, but it's answered with a nair. Having none of that. You can see a lot of these tomahawks coming out, but not going for the grab quite yet. They're trying to condition Dwyzar to not expect it.
He wanted the up smash, not going to be able to find it. Remember, if AIV takes this game, we go to a game 3, so Dwyzar, we're going to get some points on the board here. He has to find a way to win the set, and the up there is!
Dwyzar, the miracle comeback right there. They were down so much, but Yoshi, he's got buttons. There's no other word to say it. Yoshi got buttons on buttons on buttons, and that up air is one of the best. It's a combo tool. It is multi-purpose, and it's going to net you the win right there as you drift right in with the tip of the tail to finish off that Ike. Round of applause.
Yeah, absolutely. Dwyzar played fantastic throughout that set. I mean, we talked about how difficult this matchup is for Yoshi, and still, AIV, it felt like he had plenty of opportunities. You thought even after that side B killed off the top, you thought, okay, AIV's got a stock lead. He's at high percent, but if he gets any extra credit here, and Dwyzar just instantly turned it around. And even on that last stock, AIV had a lot of percent lead there, and he was still able to find a way back into it. And that's the mark of a good player, right? Only needing those 1 or 2 openings to get the full extensions, the full combos, or, you know, in the end here for Dwyzar, finding a way to get the full stock off the board.
Yeah, as now, well, we're going to be having Katsuji coming out finally, I think. I mean, who else would you send in if you want to guarantee it? I mean, Marquette still is their captain. They still got Spencer coming in here. Spencer, a very, very competent Nest player. But, I mean, University of Colorado, they've still got Katsuji in the bag. I mean, assuming Katsuji is here today, but, like, yeah, it's going to be Katsuji. And if you need an introduction, Katsuji wins in the PGR. They have been ranked before, I believe. I don't know if on the PGR, but definitely locally. And they have combos on combos on combos. Whether it's on Sheik or Luigi, they will be juggling you round and round the stage you go.
Yeah, and Katsuji for Colorado has been the player to go up against the anchors of a lot of teams. You know, we've talked about how he's had to go up against some of the, you know, heaviest of hitters, and so his record may not show that he is, you know, one of the big names on Colorado this season, but we saw what he could do last season. He was on a tear. I believe he went 13-2 in regular season play, and this season they have a lot of expectation on him to be able to handle the anchors of these teams. And even if Katsuji's not getting wins, he's mitigating a lot of points that those heavy hitters get. So for whoever Marquette sends in here, to have to assume it'd be Spencer, one of the staple names of this roster from last season, it's just going to be a tough task.
For Spencer, all you've got to think about is the victory. The victory will net you a tie. If you get a 2-stock, you get the win. But if Katsuji gets any points, then it becomes dicey. You know, University of Colorado with AIV standing there crunching the numbers, they know exactly what they need to do to get the win. But it all depends on how Spencer plays. I mean, I have not seen Spencer, but they are the captain. And we did just see the captain of University of Colorado cleaved down. See how how Spencer is able to hold up, as again, this is a middle of the pack team going up against Colorado and doing handedly, if I might add.
Yeah, I mean, Marquette is no slouch at 3-3, and we said it before, but last season they had, a lot of players move off of this team. A lot of players graduated, so there's a lot of kind of untested waters for this Marquette roster, but Spencer was one of the staple names, so they believe in this Ness player. If anyone could get it done, put your faith in the captain.
Yeah, it's Katsuji straight to Luigi, no messing around with the Sheik. Well, a loss is on the line. Tech chase situation, read the roll out. I mean, before it even happened. As just look to pressure the ledge right now. It's going to be a regrab, but Katsuji isn't able to get the follow-up on it. Spencer sets up for a nice little situation right there, but not able to follow up on it. Safe pressure on the shield with the falling up air. Katsuji off stage at a deficit, but not able to set up the yo-yo correctly.
Spencer's ability to get out of disadvantage has been very good so far, and he's got Katsuji up to a high percent for now, but Katsuji able to work his way back in with those neutral Bs.
And Katsuji is also on a character that is forced to go low the majority of the time. I mean, unless you get a misfire, you are going low. I'm curious how that interacts with the yo-yo. I mean, some recoveries just snap right through it. I'm not sure if Luigi's does. We'll have to see that come into play if Spencer even gets the opportunity to set it up.
Both of them playing very carefully, as they both know they're roughly at kill percent. One overextension could mean death. Can't find the down smash, and again, just the spacing game between these two, very crucial.
Using the magnet to try and say, hey, come in, I'm vulnerable. But not quite that easy, as they go for the yo-yo at ledge. That's what I was worried about right there. Katsuji, if they're forced to go low, which Luigi often is, it's pretty much a death sentence. If you are sent off without a jump, you might just be dead meat. But, well, on the stage, Katsuji's still a major threat.
And I like that play from Katsuji. I mean, Spencer knows, in that kind of situation that he's almost working on borrowed time, but you take a little bit of percent lead, and Katsuji, knowing he's at 0, says, okay, that's fine. It's not like I have a ton of extra credit. I'll take 6% to take your stuff.
Well, right off the bat, you can see that the spacing is there, but Spencer trying to just get Katsuji off stage again. Dash attacks, though, are being a very big thorn in their side. Oh. Katsuji takes the bait right there, because the absorb does put Ness in a decent bit of lag, but not enough for Katsuji to get the true punish. Now Katsuji knows that. I don't think it's going to be given away for free again, but that was a nice clank. They drop the up smash, though, and go right into the grab. They go for it again. Yep, Katsuji doesn't even have a way back.
Yeah, no jump because Spencer caught him out, after that up B. So now Katsuji with a huge deficit to overcome here. The way Spencer's been playing, he's done such a good job of really snuffing out those classic Katsuji combos.
Yeah, as right here and now, if this 2-stock goes on the board, then Katsuji has to be worried. It's a loss you're dealing with, not a tie. Nair right there, sets up tech chase situation. Katsuji playing with fire around this edge, but they can't really find the way off. Consistent pressure. Not really able to get any 2 frames or punish the snaps from ledge either. Well, speaking of, they use that PK Thunder to cover their approach to ledge. Right now, Spencer, they use that magnet as a bait once again. No triple PK fire for them, but they do avoid the forward smash and get the back air in return. Katsuji off stage. Oh, and the up smash dipping down below. That is going to be the stock right there, as Ness, at the moment, Spencer is poised to get the victory. If you win with 1 stock left, Marquette will just win clean out. Now University of Colorado is sweating. Katsuji will adapt. They will engage. But it's not guaranteed anymore. There is nothing guaranteed when you're in a situation like this, even if you have the tiniest of leads.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a huge game for Spencer to take, right? Because it's like you said, that 2 stock meant everything for Marquette. You go from a tie to a possible victory. You find any way to take this game in particular, and the upset is yours. And we were talking about this Colorado team and how they felt like a championship tier roster, but Katsuji has had so much pressure on his back throughout this season, going up against the anchors, that this match in particular, it is so difficult for him, right? So many of his approach options just get snuffed out, and when your recovery is going to get covered by Yo-Yo, it just looks so difficult once again for Katsuji.
I'm gonna say something, so and I'm not sure you're gonna like it, because we have had thoughts on Katsuji's Sheik, but if it's gonna come out and take names, now might be the time. I feel like Sheik has a slightly better matchup against Ness because of her ability to go off stage a little safer, of her ability to avoid the ledge traps a little better. I mean, Luigi, 2 of those stocks were because of Luigi's bad ledge game. And, well, there is one definite way around that.
Yeah, absolutely. I do agree. I mean, it's difficult to say because I think part of what makes Katsuji so threatening, especially on Luigi, is that kill power, that combo game. But if you can't even find a way to get the combo game started here against Spencer, right? We saw almost no grabs, I think, that game from Katsuji. So he's got to find a way to contest those projectiles from Spencer and the way Spencer is playing. And I think Sheik fits that format better. The question is, how much of the bread and butter does Katsuji have down on the Sheik? Because Sheik combos are a lot harder, I think, than Luigi combos, especially against this Ness.
Especially online, too. Sheik, I mean, I feel like a lot of it will come down to making Ness a little uncomfortable on the ground. You're not just going to be able to throw out a PK magnet in neutral. You're just going to get stuffed out. But no, they're going to stick to the Luigi, stick to their guns. Maybe play a more grounded game. Stuff out the landings, fish for a grab. We have to see. As the grab will immediately send Katsuji off stage. Is this just a gimp right off the bat? Is that the jump eaten? It's used! Katsuji is not able to get to ledge. Spencer knows their win condition, and they're playing for it immediately. 3 stocks to 2.
And that's a huge stock for Spencer to take. I mean, we know Luigi is capable of 0 to deaths, but I mean, the way Spencer's been playing, he's not made himself susceptible, and the combos just continue on, and the rocket hits. Is that the stock? No, not quite yet.
Oh, Katsuji is able to slip past the yo-yo this time, but only 1% on Spencer. This has to be a huge combo, but they drop it. Good DI right there from Spencer. No true down air out of that down throw. Oh, now it gets tricky. Now it gets a little bit scary. Spencer trying to win with as many points possible. Katsuji struggling. Tries to get the dirtiest little fireball coursing along the bottom of Final Destination, but still they're not able to get around it as Spencer goes for the Gimp right here with the Thunder. They get the tech right now, but do they go for the... No jump. 3 stocks to 1 and only 39%. Katsuji needs the miracle stock right now if they want to stop the University of Colorado from falling to Marquette. I said this matchup was going to be similar to what we saw last time. I was not expecting this soy.
Marquette did not come to mess around, and right now Spencer on the verge of a 3 stock against Katsuji. That would do wonders for Marquette. I mean, we talked about how this team, it's been kind of pendulum-esque for their season so far, but to get a win against Colorado would do wonders for their momentum.
F smash, not going to kill quite yet. You do have Spencer in the air, though. The landing aerials, though, even though they're safe, they don't lead into much. No grab combos out of that. Going for the Gimp right now, but just a nice air dodge sledge. Ness with one of the longest air dodges in the entire game. He's able to escape scot-free now. Still 3 stocks to 1, and Katsuji's percent is stacking up.
And that's a huge amount of percent for Katsuji to deal with. He doesn't have a good way to clean up stocks, too, against Spencer here. He's able to make it back to stage. That down B not even going to be able to seal the way either.
Just in neutral right there. Re-grabbing the ledge again. They want Katsuji to punish so bad. They're like, come and get me, come and get me. But just like that joyful little smile on the boy, it's all lies. Katsuji plays the beast, busts the ghost, and right now, this is their chance. The combo, the starter. Is this enough? They get the punish. Can Katsuji do this? Can Katsuji turn it around, Soy? It was 3 stocks to 1 at 30%. Going for the gimp right now, but they knock Katsuji right back on the ledge. Oh, Katsuji playing with fire right now. They go for the landings there. Not enough. Katsuji, this is do or die right now. They need to get this win.
Gotta play so carefully around neutral, and you know Katsuji's looking for one grab. He wants that combo again, because once that combo is off the table, it's just so much more difficult for Katsuji to find an opening. Can't find the grab there.
Yeah, and they've got to throw out those grabs just to show that it's there, show that it's an option. Stuffing out the early up B attempts, but they get the 2-frame. Or they even... The 2-frame again? The perfect timing! Katsuji! They are not letting you get away with this. Not again. A free 30% right there. But is it enough? You do the tornado on shield, and Spencer is able to get the punish. A heartbreaker right there. Katsuji was so close to bringing it all the way back. But the early lead that Spencer built meant that all you're going to be doing is clapping on the victory screen. Right here, Marquette University gets the massive upset over the University of Colorado, winning it out right here. And it's all off the back of Spencer. I mean, their teammates got them there, but Spencer crawled finger after aching finger over the finish line.
I mean, we knew how difficult this was going to be coming into this match, right? But man, oh man, did Spencer show up in spades. Like, that was... Katsuji, you know, we talked about how clutch of a player he has been, and while he has struggled this season, he's got such matchup experience going up against such tough players. And Spencer, I mean, to come in here and dominate the way he did. Now, Katsuji did find some openings. You know, he got it down to last stock. But those pressure cooker situations bring out the best in people, and Spencer was just better on the day.
And that win's going to be huge. I mean, that's a win you get to flaunt forever and ever and ever. As, honestly, I can't wait to ask them about that. I feel like, I mean, obviously you had the winning matchup. You had some very, very good plays, but that wasn't the plays. You were able to clutch it out in the end, even when it felt like it was all over, even when it felt like you were able to get the win. And not just that, they got the win over the 2-star names that we know. They got AIV and Katsuji out of there. Marquette. Who is Marquette? Like, no offense, but like, Marquette has been just kind of always the bridesmaid, never the bride, but like, not even the bridesmaid. She's like the bridesmaid's bridesmaid. Like, she's like all the way at the end of the line with a veil over her face. So the fact that Marquette, who didn't even get to play in playoffs last year, is able to get the upset over Colorado, massive.
Yeah, absolutely. What a huge turnaround for them. And we talked about it too. This roster has gone through a lot of changes. There's a lot of new players joining. You got players like Kawas and company who have come in. Dwizar wasn't here last year. And you know, these guys have come in, and although, again, they've struggled against some of the championship caliber teams, the Mississippi States and the William and Marys, but you put them into these situations, you give them a Colorado team that might, you know, Colorado, this is a couple of weeks now. I mean, their 2 losses were to Mississippi State. But you come off a loss and you think, okay, maybe they'll bounce back here. And no, it's Marquette who shuts them down. It's a wake-up call for the Buffaloes, but it's also a warning sign to the rest of the league that Marquette is a team that you have to pay attention to.
And we can ask Marquette a little bit about that new status in an interview with Dvars, or DeWizard? DeWizard. I have no idea. Listen, we can ask them more about their victory and how to say their name in this interview in just a couple of minutes, so don't go anywhere. EGFC will be back in just a moment. Welcome back, everybody, to EGFC, where the wait is finally over. The question is finally answered. You pronounce it D-Wizzer, and they are here to answer some questions about Marquette's staggering victory right there.
Yeah, hi. How's it going? D-Wizzer, that's correct.
Yeah, and first off the bat, you actually, before we get into the big victory questions, let's get into the small victory questions with your not-so-small victory over AIV. Now, I know that's a matchup that can be quite troublesome, so how did you feel going up against the captain?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it yesterday, and ideally we wanted Quas or Chico to go up against the Ike, but just the way it worked out, I had to. And I felt pretty confident just because, like, for a couple months, my training partner was an Ike, and we played online all the time, so the matchup kind of sucks, but I have a lot of experience in it, so just had to play patient, wait on the nairs, and then punish.
Yeah, and hey, you're able to use all the tools, get the mid-air egg lays, get the finisher up airs, and, well, I mean, congratulations on that win in particular.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah,
and also I know the jab blocks were also very very fun to watch. Now Marquette, I guess this was a team that last year had its ups and downs. It was a little bit of a roller coaster and was on the bubble, on the cusp of being a playoff team, but tiebreakers and whatnot didn't work out in their favor. What are the expectations of your team going forth?
I mean, we definitely want to be a playoff team. Chico and Quaz are new, and they've been putting in a lot of work and a lot of good results. So I think we're better than we were last year, and we can definitely compete with anyone. Like, Colorado's pretty good, and even with DePaul, Mississippi State, like, we played them as close as we could, but I think we can beat anyone.
and that is what I was going to be leading into. So if you do make it to the playoffs, you are going to have to face off against these teams that you played it as best you could. You weren't quite able to close it off, but you've definitely shown some improvement thanks to this victory in the playoffs. Beyond just how you feel, how are you going to get ready for these matchups?
I mean, just play as much as we can. I mean, practice whenever possible. I know a lot of us don't play online that often, so it's a bit different of a game than offline. So probably come playoff time, we'll have to get used to a little bit of delay. But yeah, we just play a lot, so that's how we get better.
Okay. That seems to be the common thread, so I'm glad it's working out for you. It got you this win.
Yeah.
And you guys are in a tough Central Conference, too. I mean, you look at the Central Conference, and it seems almost stacked with talent. Mississippi State, DePaul, you guys, Colorado. And next week you get another kind of giant in that division, Hawaii, who's kind of been on the rise. So you already touched on it a little bit, but what does the preparation for a team like Hawaii look like, especially knowing that this is the last game of this split in particular?
Yeah, we definitely take it one game at a time, so we're going to have to look into their squad, see who they play, the results they've been getting. Hawaii's far, so hopefully the connection's good, but like I said, I feel like we can beat anyone, so as long as we put the work in, we can definitely win.
Well, I give you best of luck in both that work and the few coming games, but for now, congrats on this victory in particular, and thank you so much for doing this interview.
Thank you, guys.
No problem. It's always happy to hear from you. And with that, we're going to be wrapping up this game, but there is still one more tonight. The aforementioned Hawaii is going to be back on stream to close out the night, so don't go anywhere. More EGFC will be back in just a little bit.